NATO troops, led by the United States and Britain, along with the Afghan army, are planning their largest offensive ever of the Afghan war. We don't know exactly when it's happening, only that it's happening soon. Here to talk about it is Kabul bureau chief for the New York Times, Alissa Rubin. Alissa, what's the main goal of this offensive?
They are trying to remove those Taliban from the area because that's an area they use to plot attacks on both Afghan soldiers, Afghan police, and American and British soldiers and any other coalition troops that are operating there. But I think it's also to show that they will not hesitate to use force in the interests of trying to drain the insurgency of its energy.
And what is it about Marja?
Because it's in Helmand, the leading poppy growing province, it's an area that the Taliban has funded its movement from. Now they get funds from a lot of places, but that's certainly poppies is one big one. It's also that the Taliban have been very influential in Helmand. So by removing or reducing their power there, that will have an effect and send a message that the troops are really, the joint troops are really serious about not dealing with the Taliban as a military or a guerrilla force, but only as a political entity.
It's curious that it's been announced ahead of time. I mean, that's controversial, I know. It's unusual to announce an offensive and give the enemy a chance to turn themselves in or move elsewhere? I mean, what is the strategy?
Well, I think there's several, again, there's more than one goal here. Because the Americans have really been pilloried for civilian casualties, they want to bend over backwards to make sure that civilians can have time to get away if they want to. Secondly, I think, for the Taliban, too, there's a hope that some of them would filter away, would leave. First of all, that means fewer American and British casualties, probably. There'll be fewer fighters. But secondly, it buys a little time for them to think about what they really want their next step to be. There's a very growing discussion about a serious reconciliation program that would allow the Taliban to come back into Afghan society with some support, with some protection. This gives people some time to think about whether they want to move in that direction or not.
How important is this area for the rest of what's going on in Afghanistan?
Well, I don't know that this area per se is important for what's going on in the rest of Afghanistan, but it would provide something of a model for what the coalition needs to do in order to both impress on the Taliban and on people who ally with them, that is local farmers, local landholders, that they are serious militarily, but also that they are serious about trying to change the environment and bring development to the area, make it a safe area for the population where they're not brutalized or coerced by insurgents on a regular basis, which is what is currently happening in most of these places.
Alissa, thanks so much.